All right, welcome back, everybody. We're here for the second match of the day, Pixely versus Apolla in the Emerald Off semifinals. My name's Tolkien. I'm joined here in the booth with Crawlers, and
How's it going,
it's
everybody? It's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you, Tolkien, for inviting me along, and should be fun to be here for the ride of this Emerald Off tournament, the semi-finals. A lot to look forward to here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be an interesting commentation experience because Crawlers has never actually played a speedrun of this game before. But fantastic commentator and great IRL friend. So we're gonna have some fun. Probably explain the actual tech behind what the players are doing a little bit more. So for any new Minecraft players or new speedrunners in chat, it should actually be a very educational experience as well. But yeah, it
Absolutely. I
should
mean,
be
I'll
a
be
lot of
here
fun.
learning along with you. So, yeah, I mean,
Exactly
it's a
right.
great opportunity to stop by, have a look, especially coming into the semi-finals. It could even be educational for those who are coming up, remembering the basics, getting back to the text itself, helping come into that excitement of the final soon to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that leads us into the first section here. We've got the seed stats for both of these players. So Pixely here versus Apolla. Looking at the seed times, it looks like Apolla. I mean, it's very mixed. If you look at the average times there, they are better on some seeds, worse on others. What do you think about these stats here?
I mean, looking on numbers alone, there's not that much of a difference apart from the bottom two in between these two players. I mean, stats can be deceptive in any game you play. One player could have worse stats than the other, but that doesn't necessarily mean their individual performance tonight will rely on that or not. Typically in their history, maybe there's been a bit of a trouble with certain seeds. I mean, you can see that Apollo and Buried Treasure and Desert Temple has slightly lower stats than the side of Pixeli there. But I mean, you got to remember too, these stats it doesn't explain everything. And I think that they're so close together here with most of their stats that anything could really happen. Don't you agree, Tolkien?
Yeah. Absolutely. I think the biggest important thing to realize is stats are a good indicator of who might be more likely to win, but it really does come down to the performance on the night. And so if Apollo just plays better, if Pixely just plays better today, they're just going to win the seeds. It's that simple. One important stat here that I'd like to outline, as Krill mentioned, is Buried Treasure and Desert Temple only a 30% win percentage and 38% win percentage, respectively, for Apolla. That's not what you want to see, and actually nothing above 50% on the side of Apolla. So maybe not a very consistent player, but you can see there's some very good times here. The average times when we do complete a run, around 14 to 15 minutes or so. So it's not too bad. Yeah, it really is a toss up. I think it will come down to seed picks and bans and just individual performance on the night.
Absolutely, and you bring up
So
another great point as well, Token, with those
mm,
percentages as well. I mean, if you compare the Buried Treasure, Apollo has a worse win rate, but he's got a better average time in comparison to Pixely, which makes you really question how these stats could go. I mean, lower time in speedrunning, obviously, what you want, but the win percentage definitely calls that into question, right?
yeah, absolutely. So outside of just the raw seeds itself, let's have a look at the actual overall statistics of these players. So first of all, best rank time. Apollo does have a faster best rank time. So maybe our peak performance on tonight, if we can play at our fastest, we might have the advantage there. But Pixel is not far behind, only about a 30-40 second gap in between the two players. Also, average rank time is a bit lower on the side of Apollo as well. Win percentage is pretty much the same. But one important thing to note here, Pixley is way higher ranked. So peak elo this season, 1500 versus 1200. That's a big discrepancy. How do you think that will play out? Do you think that's going to maybe run some nerves with Apolla, or do you, I don't know. It's going to be hard to topple that.
Absolutely, and you're absolutely right. I mean, looking at these stats, the differences aren't great. I mean, you talk about 20, 30 seconds. That's a lot in a speedrunning community. It can definitely make a difference, but all it takes is one mistake, right? And then the other person can get up ahead. The thing I'm worried about the most, the thing that really might put this into perspective is the wins to losses. I mean, you see Pixely with the 218 to 209 versus Apollo with a significantly fewer games played, 81 to 77. I mean, the win rate stays the same, but the advantage that Pixely will have here is that experience experience. Every loss is a chance to grow, expand, and learn, and you'll remember the mistakes you made before. So even if the win rate's the same, Pixely might have the edge just having made more mistakes than Apollo. But it could also go the other way. It could be that Apollo has not made these mistakes. They're on top of it and they won't make any of those mistakes. And that could be that huge difference. Elo itself, I mean, I'm not too sure how the systems work, but I know from competitive games otherwise that Elo can be quite inconsistent. So it might not really make too much of a difference, especially with it being so close together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then just some accolades here as well. Polar has a 712 filtered seed glitchless. So this is essentially, it's not a set seed, it's filtered seeds. So essentially, if everything goes right, 712 is pretty much the fastest we'd be looking at on the side of a Polar. And a sub 10 Temple in ranked is also a very fast seed. So that's a good time. And a Temple it can be a fast seed, but it can be a difficult seed to play as well. Now Pixely woke up 1 hour before the match. That could go either way. Maybe we got that sleep that we needed, or maybe we're still just a bit groggy before the match. I don't know how that will affect things. Worst sleep schedule in the world. I absolutely can agree with that. I have the same issues. And learned 2x1 deep 30 minutes ago. So this is a specific type of portal, nether portal that you can create on the ocean seeds. So it'll be interesting if we get any of the ocean seeds, either the shipwreck or the buried treasure, to see if we can see that experience coming through. Obviously, Apollo probably knows how to make that portal. They've known how to make that portal for longer, but maybe the practice that Pixely has gotten in very recently on that one might help us to actually make that portal. But yeah, other than that,
it being fresh in your mind, that definitely helps, right? Everything in your mind, if it's just been done, then that's huge, right?
Yep, absolutely. So we're going to move over to seed selection now, picks and bans, just to see what these players have decided on. So the first pick will be going on the side of Pixely. And Pixely, or this is the first ban, sorry. The first ban is actually going to be a shipwreck. So one of those ocean seeds that I was talking about, it will be interesting to see if buried treasure is also banned, or if we may be playing one out today. So Apola has decided to ban a village seed. Probably the easiest seed to start out on if you are new to speedrunning. I think it makes a lot of sense because village is a very easy seed type, and so going up against someone who's who has worse better ranked stats overall. I don't know. I think it's a decent pick. Just to try and even out the playing field there. Next up, buried treasure is going to be the first pick. So we do get that ocean seed and a very fast seed at that. So it will be an interesting one to see. And that's the game that we'll be going straight into after this. Next up is Temple, Desert Temple. So we will be seeing a Desert Temple today, which is exciting. One of my more favorite seeds. It's usually the only seed you get TNT in. So I'm excited to see how these runners utilize that TNT. And that, of course, means that decider match will be a Ruin Portal if we get around to that one. So what do you think of these seed picks? Are you excited to see how these ones play out?
I mean, again, as a person who's experiencing this fresh for the first time, still struggling to learn the terminology, I'm definitely very excited. I mean, you say that Apollo bans one that's typically looked at as an easier seed. That should just speak towards the confidence that Apollo has going into this, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, taking something out that could be a bit easier with a better rank time, it's really showing that Apollo is willing to tackle those harder seeds, get into the guts of it and get going. And I mean, Pixely's ban makes sense if we're talking about that 2x1 underwater thing that you were talking about before. I mean, if he's not too confident with that, it makes sense for that one to be gone. So it should be interesting. I mean, buried treasure, Desert Temple, I mean, those games are going to be the ones that really matter. The Ruin Portal, if it comes down to that, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, because obviously that's on the bottom of both of their lists, so there's got to be a reason for that. So I don't know, we might get to that third one and see how that plays out.
And so all three of these seed types are very unique. They're not very similar to each other. Shipwreck and buried treasure are very similar seeds, but we have a wide range of seed types here. So this is going to be exciting to see how the players are able to handle these very different seed types. So buried treasure, an ocean seed, so that's very unique in and of itself. Desert Temple, again, very unique. It's the only seed that you get TNT in. And then Ruin Portal is a very fast seed. Usually you'll just go. It's a very fast seed, just trying to beat the game as fast as possible with low resources. So I'm very excited to see how these players can tackle all of these different seed types. They're very unique and should lead to very dynamic games. So it looks like these players are just about ready to kick off. So as mentioned before, we will be loading into a buried treasure up first. So let's just move over to see these players.
Here we go. This is where it all starts. The nerves must be flowing through the players at the moment. I mean, you get that loading screen, and if you've ever been a competitor before, you know the feeling. It's about to start. They're about to kick off, and yeah, let's see how they go.
Yeah, absolutely. We may have some technical difficulties on the side of Apola. It seems like the stream is not working, so we might just have to pause the match and see if we can get that sorted out. So I do apologize about that. But yeah, we'll just we may go to a short intermission while we get this sorted out, and then we'll be ready to kick things off into the first match. We'll see you then. All right. Thank you for your patience there, everybody. We are just about ready to start the first match, so the players will be loading in just a second. So again, buried treasure match up now. Very exciting to see how these players handle this. It's a pretty difficult seed. So buried treasure, the way that you find all the resources you need is you're looking for this chest in the game. It can be, usually you find a map to find this one, but you can actually do a trick called mapless, which you can see on the screen at the moment. The players will use their pie chart to locate approximately where the buried treasure is, what chunk that buried treasure is in. And once you're there, you know the chunk coordinates, you know where it always spawns in the chunk. And so you can just dig down directly on that buried treasure chest. So it looks like Apola is probably in the right chunk now, digging down. Maybe not happy with that. Maybe they've made a mistake. So we'll see. It looks right to me. No, I just wasn't sure about the chords, but yeah, absolutely. Pixely a little bit behind, but finding the right chunk now. So digging down, 14 iron, a few fish. So about 5 pieces of food there. Should be plenty to get going. So we'll be just punching a tree now, getting some wood to make tools. And so the next part about this is we need to look for a lava ravine in the ocean. It can be quite challenging to spot them, but you'll see magma and obsidian at the very bottom of those ravines, and you can actually make a portal at the very bottom. And so that's how we will likely be entering. Another thing here is Apola's decided to, with the extra iron that we had from the buried treasure, we're making a pair of shears, which you can see now breaking the blocks there just to get some leaves for building blocks. It's very helpful in the nether to navigate terrain and everything like that. So just a good resource to have in the back pocket, just for the 2 iron investment. So if you have those spare, it's a great play.
Absolutely.
Um,
And I mean, one thing I'm noticing as well, watching these players play, I mean, you have to make these decisions and you have to make them quick. I'm sure they've done it over and over again. And they know this, sorts of plays like the back of their hands. I mean, you have to, or the meta knowledge you need with the game. But it's still impressive to see from an outside perspective. I mean, if you sit
yep.
there and really pay attention, these decisions are being made quickly. These players clearly know where they're going, what they're looking for, and you got to give them respect in that regard. I mean, you can really see how one small slip up could really change the game here. So both of them can't really afford to make any mistakes right now.
Yeah, no, these that's a fantastic thing about ranked and just speedrunning in general, speedrunning Minecraft is it's a very dynamic game. You never know what you're going to get. Obviously the base idea of the speedrun is always the same, just kill the ender dragon, get to the end. But the seeds that you're thrown, you really need to know how to adapt. Adaption is key, and that's why this is such a strategic game, being able to make those split-second decisions, go the right way, find the right resources to be able to complete the run. So we're going to be heading into this bastion now, right off spawn. So not have to run too far to try and find this one. And this is a treasure bastion. So there's going to be a lot of gold down the bottom, but typically you see these runners heading up to the top because it's just an easier route and an easier way to get the pigs in one place to trade the gold, and it's just a lot safer as well. There's a lot of lava down there, so you don't want to risk things unnecessarily. So just getting some gold here. Getting out of the way of the piglins so that you're nice and safe. And then we'll be leading these piglins up the stairs that you can see on a polar screen. So these routes, they are, I mean, there's a ton of bastion routes, but the community has been around for a long time. So these runners and these routes in general have just been perfected over a few years. So they should just know exactly where all the gold is, what their base game plan is here to get all the gold in one place. So treasure is a very interesting one. You'll see the gold is in random places. If you were just playing the game as a survival player, you wouldn't know that this gold was even here. But obviously these runners just through memorization know exactly where the gold is. So there's going to be some gold here. Maybe break this block. There's another one. It's just a testament to the memorization and just the speedrunning community in general being able to figure out how to route these bastions efficiently and get the gold in a quick pace. So
Absolutely
what do you
right. I
think
mean, having a look at this, I mean, these two players are neck and neck. I mean, again, it comes down to the testament and the repetition of doing this time and time again and really knowing where things are. But it's still amazing to see that these players are basically like again neck and neck. They're at the exact same spot doing the same things at the moment, and no one's really in front of the other just yet. But I imagine that's shortly about to change.
Yeah, no, it definitely will matter going into this next split coming up. Once we finish trading our gold and we have all the resources we need, the next step is finding a fortress. And so you've seen Apollo's actually lowered their render distance. They're down to 2 render distance at the moment. That could be a pearl hang. So what a lot of runners will do is if they do know the general direction that they are heading, if they've maybe seen the fortress on their screen at some point, which I didn't see it myself, then they will throw a pearl in that direction and then unload the chunks that the pearl is in. So the pearl's essentially, it's not loaded. The game doesn't realize that it's there until you raise that render distance again. And that's going to reload the pearl and just teleport them instantly to the direction that they chose. You can see Apollo unloading the chunks now. And bang, we are out of the bastion. So probably a slight lead here, but I'm not entirely certain if Apollo actually... No, we do see it. There's the fortress. So definitely a bit of a lead here. We'll see how long it takes Pixely to leave now. Perhaps ready to go. So maybe only 10, 20 seconds in between these runners. That is not a lot for this stage in the run. We're going to have to see... it's going to be a close match unless one of these runners makes a catastrophic mistake.
And that's the thing, right? I mean, like, it looks like one of them is definitely a bit ahead of each other. Again, the gap being closing, every second. But, all it takes is for Apollo to make one small mistake, even if he just gets stuck on a single block. And, Pixely could catch up here. And I guess that's what keeps you on the edge of the seat with these speedruns, right? All it takes is one mistake for the other player to get ahead.
Yeah, it's never over. It's absolutely never over. So Apollo and Pixely now at the Blaze spawner. I think Apollo has a bit of a head start on those Blaze raids. So we see 3 Blaze rods in the inventory. We need at least 6 to be safe because the end portal, it needs 12 Eyes of Ender. So 6 pearls makes 12 blaze powder, which makes 12 eyes of ender. So we're really just in a bit of a waiting game here, just doing any time saves that we can do in between waiting for these blaze spawns. So you'll see Apola's crafting some resources, making a portal at the moment so we can measure the Eye of Ender in the overworld. And still only on 3 rods, I believe. So if Pixely gets lucky with these spawns, we might see a bit of a catch up, which should be exciting. And I think Pixely has already crafted some of the things that they needed to as well. So both runners, as soon as they get their 6th rod here, they should be pretty much ready to just head towards the direction of the stronghold. Apola taking some damage there, getting meleeed by the blazes, but manages to get away in time. One other interesting thing to note is Apola has chosen to mine out some blocks from the spawner, which just increases the chance for blazes to spawn. If there's blocks in the way, then a blaze just might not spawn from the spawner. Pixely has done a different tactic there. They've actually used a bed. Beds obviously explode in the nether, and that clears out a lot of blocks. So it is usually faster. And so that might be the time save that Pixely needs to get ahead here. So Apola measuring the Eye of Ender now, just seeing what direction it's going. And so they should be, looks like they have the coordinates to the stronghold. Only 9 eyes in the inventory. We'll be getting the 10th, which fell into the ocean. And seems like we're also hunger resetting. So placing down a bed, we're going to kill ourselves in this hole to reset our health. Obviously, we just respawned by the bed, so no issues there. And Pixely actually spawning not in an ocean, so this measuring slit might be a bit easier. And we're actually at 12 eyes. So Pixely has all the eyes we need. I think this is neck and neck. There's really pretty much no difference here between the runners now, the runners' times. I think Pixely is not going to be hunger resetting.
And even having that bed down in the nether, the time that it saved, allowing Pixely to catch up a little. And I mean, again, back to neck and neck. You know, when it just as it seems Apola's getting ahead and really taking over this match, Pixely brings it back. And I mean, again, that's what it's all about, right? I mean, these tiny little things that these players know that can save that couple of seconds. That's all you need to make that difference, and that's what I'm seeing from this gameplay. I mean, they're back to neck and neck, but you know, again, all it takes is that one slip up or that one good decision, and then we're right back to where we started.
Yeah, and so both runners now pretty much completely gotten rid of the lead that Apola had going into the fortress. So they're both making their way to the quartz. We'll see who navigates this nether terrain better. It is in a basalt delta, so it could be a little bit tricky to navigate. But yeah, we won't know who's ahead. It could go either way now until these players start building their portal. Now there's still some time save to be had. Once we get to the stronghold, they need to locate the portal room. And there's another piece of technology that you can use. You can again use the pie chart to see if you can find the direction of the spawner in the portal room. But it can be quite difficult to get the right direction. And so we'll see if one player manages to do that a bit better, or if the other player manages to get a lead here. So Apola building the portal now at Cords, Pixely digging through some terrain, but it looks like we're digging down, so we're probably at the right Cords as well. We just don't want to hit surface. If we build a second nether portal and it hits surface, we have to dig all the way down in the overworld, which is not fantastic. But Apola doing that tech that we were just talking about, scanning with the pie chart, it's called preemptive, and seems to like the look of that pie chart, maybe checking this other direction as well. I'm not sure if it's left or right. Those both looked very similar. So just going to try and nav this the best we can. Maybe heading back. So this could be the time save that Pixely needs to get back into this game. Building our portal now.
I got to tell you,
if we head the right direction.
As someone from an outside perspective, I mean, seeing them in the lava for that long on such low health, I mean, again, I know these speedrunners know what they're doing, but as someone who just plays it for a bit of fun, that gives me a lot of anxiety. I got to tell you that as much. It goes to show how much they know about the game and how long they're in there for. I mean, again, that fire resistance, if that runs out, I mean, you're in a pretty bad spot and those hearts getting low. So interesting to see them
before. And some
Yeah.
seeds you'll have low fire res, so you might be put in a situation where you just don't have the fire res to spare, and so runners can die to that. It's risky trying to wade through lava, and it's also just slow. Like you don't swim fast in lava. You really want to be on terrain getting through there. But back to this stronghold nav, both runners struggling a little bit with this. It seems like it's pretty deep. We're just not sure the direction we are going. So any lead that Apola had coming up to this point, it's pretty much lost because it just matters who navigates this stronghold better. If Pixely gets lucky and finds the portal room, then they're in the end first, which, you know, once you're in the end, it's pretty much just a race to see either who can zero cycle, or if you do get the one cycle, the perch times can be variable. So still not over either way. It's really just a race to see who gets here first.
Absolutely, and I mean that's
Apola,
that's been the cycle of the game. Oh no, that's not. Oh, never mind. He's going
no,
for
that's
that
fine. That's
hunger
a death
reset. I believe
reset.
that was. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. I mean,
So,
that's
oh,
been
and we see the
the
portal room. So a little bit cheaty there. We clipped through the block, but we did see the portal room. Apola was obviously digging that way anyway, so that doesn't matter. But Apola is in the portal room first, so we'll see if we can see a zero cycle here. We are caged, which is not fantastic. You need to get to those coordinates fast, and when you are dug down in a hole, it means you have to waste those precious seconds getting up, and this is very deep. So I think Apola is probably not going to push the zero cycle way. Ooh, almost looked at an Enderman there. Yeah, we're just going for the one cycle. So this gives Pixely a chance to catch up. If they find the portal room soon, they could go for that zero cycle, which will be faster, or they could just get lucky on the perch and still win. This is a very exciting game.
It's coming down to that neck and neck that we were talking about before. Again, it does seem like Pixely's behind, but you're right. If he manages to get in and get a zero cycle before that perch, you know, it could go either way, really, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Still struggling with the stronghold nav and on low health as well. So if there's a few too many mobs, that could get dicey. But we really need to find this portal room soon. Apola is guaranteed the dragon perch at the 3-minute mark. That's a feature of ranked. So the time is ticking. But Pixely finding the portal room now. Hunger resetting just before entering to make sure we're on full health. And I think Pixely just has to go for this zero cycle here. If we don't, it's just game over. We're not going to get the perch fast enough. Just crafting all of our explosives, making sure that we're ready for the zero cycle. And this is it. This is the deciding few moments here. So Dragon is turning in. Dragon might be perching on the side of Apola, so it might be a little bit too late for Pixely. If Apola can get this Dragon kill, we should have enough low damage on that first explosive. And the bed breaks. That is not good. Pixely's going for the zero cycle right now. Apola not managing to kill the dragon in one cycle, so we will have to wait for another perch. This is not fantastic, and we have run down some of our explosives there as well. So is that even enough to kill the dragon, even if it perches again? Pixely
the question is,
had to back out of the zero cycle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, Apollo might have slipped behind, but is Pixely going to be able to take it home with that little bit of an advantage? I mean, you know, if it can happen to Apollo, it can definitely happen to Pixely too. So we'll just have to wait and see. It's getting pretty tense, so I'll tell you that.
No, absolutely. And so Pixely will be getting their perch in just a couple of minutes now. It was quite a long perch, so if Apollo can get these crystals down soon, then we may have a chance. But Pixely just needs to just lock in. Very low health for Apola. We can't blow up any explosives. We're not going to have the health. The explosives, the beds will just kill us if we try and go for that. So we're going to have to axe the dragon down. If Pixely manages to get this zero cycle off, or this one cycle rather, then we just win the game. And a lot of Endermen in the portal or the fountain now. But seems cool, calm, and collected. First bed, good damage. And an anchor, second anchor. And the dragon is low enough that the axe should do the job here. I think that is the first game going to Pixely in just a moment here. So we just have to wait out the dragon animation, but we are locked in Obsidian. Zero chance of Pixely dying right now. That will be our first match going to Pixely with a time of 16:02. Very well played by both runners. That was neck and neck the whole time.
was really close. I mean, you could feel the tension even as somebody who doesn't know a whole lot about the speedrunning world. I mean, you could see it coming to a close and, rooting for Apollo there. And then all of a sudden it just, a bit of a reverse sweep from Pixley managing to pull through and get that victory. And I mean, that's huge. That's the first map when, you think you might be a little bit behind and getting that last win, that sort of second win, getting you through and getting that first win. Pixley's got to be feeling confident now, and Apollo probably feeling a little bit robbed of that victory there just by the especially that bad luck with the bed breaking. I mean, you got to be a bit tense about that, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Polar just holding on to a 10-20 second lead the entire match, but it doesn't matter because if you can't kill the dragon, that's the match over. Pixley just managing to make it get it done with that one cycle. So very well played by both runners, very close. Next game, it could just be as neck and neck. We will see, but we will be going to a short intermission after this as we get ready for the next match. So don't get any go. Don't go anywhere. Stick around, and we will see you all very soon. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are getting back into the game here. So fantastic first match, very back and forth, very dynamic. Exactly what you want to see in these semi-final games. So yeah, we'll be heading into a desert temple up next. But before we just need to make sure that our runners are ready for that one. Yeah, what do you think about that first match there, Crawlers? As someone who's never touched speedrunning before, how was it seeing your very first speedrun and commentating your very first speedrun?
I mean, the commentating part was mostly carried by you. I'm not going to lie. I was more confused than I've ever been in this position before. But it also goes to show, I mean, these players know what they're doing. You saw how close that was. It was a razor's edge on who won that one. And unfortunately for Apollo, a few things went wrong. He had the initiative throughout that entire game, but Pixley managing to capitalize on that small mistake that happened there for Apollo. Unfortunate. But again, it goes to show just how close these games can get. And especially for a semi-finals game, I mean, the stakes have never been higher for these players for this tournament. I mean, this sort of decides who goes on to verse the best persons in the final and who goes on to that lower bracket to try and claw their way back through. I mean, this isn't just an average game. This is the one. This is the decider. You know what I mean? So it's got to be stressful for these players, and it's got to hit that mental. It's got to be really energetic on the side of Pixely. But Apollo will probably be looking here. He'll be hungry for this win. He'll want to drag it back and prove that he deserves to be here and deserves that final. So we're gonna see a close match again. I reckon we're gonna see them both fighting hard just to get that victory again.
Absolutely. And this being a semi-finals match, it means that whoever wins this match is guaranteed a podium finish, and that also comes with a cash prize. So, you know, if you do lose, you still have the losers bracket to maybe get third place. But if you win, you're just guaranteed that podium place right now here today. I think both runners really want that. So I'm excited to see how that drives these two players. So we will be getting into the very first match, or the second match, sorry, the Desert Temple match for today. Both runners loading now. I'm very excited to see how these players route the Desert Temple. So Desert Temple is a seed type. Yeah, no, absolutely. But Desert Temple is a seed type. The first goal is to be looking for that Desert Temple. You can see it on both runners' screens now. And obviously, we don't have any tools or anything at the moment, so we're just going to be mining our way to the bottom with our fists, taking a bit of fall damage, but that's okay because this is just the fastest way to get to the bottom. And we're actually going to use our very first piece of TNT on the seed to quick loot these chests rather than having to loot all 4 chests individually. You can just use one TNT, it blows up everything. You can collect some blocks, collect all the items, and you're out of there. So both runners now pillaring back up to the surface. We're going to be looking for some trees, maybe some food if we want some extra food. Just looking for those resources to get ready to enter the nether.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I've always found really intriguing about speedrunning and things like that. I mean, the resource management alone is going to be insane. I mean, using TNT to try and get wood here and things like that. Like, you got to be quick about getting your resources, but at the same time, you got to make sure you don't overlook anything. So, you know, how do you determine that speed versus, you know, getting what you need, resource management? I mean, I'm sure that's quite a struggle because it's probably pretty easy to overlook something critical in that sort of speed of gathering those items.
No, so often you'll see runners forgetting a vital part of the kit, maybe crafting the wrong tools or not getting flint for the flint and steel, just struggling to find the lava pool. There's so many things that these runners need to be keeping track of, and the overworld is probably the most dynamic part about that. Probably getting stuck on a squid here, and so you just need to manage all of those different things in your mind. It's a very strategic game, and so managing to do everything in a fast manner within 2-3 minutes is just a testament to these runners' skill and determination, getting through and just practicing day after day to get good at this game. So Pixely starting the portal build now should be the first one to enter if we haven't forgotten anything. I didn't see, no, we do have flint, so we're not going to be going for a wood light. Apollo actually opting to get some extra food here, killing a pig. That might matter because in these, Pixely also doing the same. So I was going to say having more food on this seed type is actually a big advantage because it means you don't have to be eating rotten flesh for food. You heal up faster. You can be more aggressive throwing ender pearls. It's just a big advantage, but both runners opting to make that play, which is a good thing to see. It means this could be a very fast seed. And so Pixely now entering the nether, but Apollo 4 seconds behind now. And we will be looking for this Bastion now. I don't see it on either of the play screens. But there is a very cool piece of tech that you can use. It's called E-rate. If you lower your FOV or even use that thin macro that we see Pixely using, you can determine the direction of the Bastion by how many entities are loaded on your screen. This works through walls and everything like that. So Pixely scanning, trying to find this Bastion, but a little bit lost. Apolla seems to be heading in the same direction, so hopefully it's not going to be the wrong direction. But yeah, just going to be a bit of a struggle to find this Bastion. Last seed, it was pretty much in front of us, so there was no issues looking for that one. But this one is a bit of a distance, so making use of those blocks now for Apolla that we got from that TNT just to navigate this nether terrain, it can be quite challenging.
Absolutely. I mean, you can see it. I mean, again, last time, like you said, it was right in front of both of the players, but this could have a significant impact. I mean, just navigation alone, taking its time, you jump up the wrong block and have to go back down one. That's an extra second that you've lost here. And I mean, you can kind of
Yep.
see it happening at the moment. I mean, even if these players know where they're going, it's all about the decision making they make, which way they're going to go, how they're going to get there, what's the quickest way. Simple things like
Exactly
what
right.
Apollo did earlier, where he built a bridge, but then he just built a couple of blocks and jumped to it. I mean, that little bit of time saving can make the difference. And clearly it might be working.
Yeah, exactly. Apolla now opting to dig through some terrain here. We're using the boat to get into a crawling state, so we only have to break one block instead of two to get through this terrain. But Pixely offering to, opting to try and still navigate this terrain. This Bastion is very far. You don't normally see it this far out. We do actually see the legs of the fortress as well on Pixely screen. I'm not sure if Apolla saw that on their screen, but that could be a big advantage if we already know where we're heading after the Bastion. But a big important factor here is who can get to the Bastion first, because if you can get there first, get your trades going, that's just a flat out lead that you can maybe just hold all the way to the end. I still don't see the Bastion on either player's screen. We see it now on Pixely's. So maybe Apolla is digging down to it, but it just looks like it's in a better position in Pixely. I'd really want to be Pixely in this situation because we're pretty much there.
Absolutely. I mean, but you can't forget all it takes is one mistake. I mean, you slip into the lava, you anger the wrong mob, it could change again, but it does look like it's pretty heavily in Pixely's favor now. I mean, scaling the walls of the
Actually,
Bastion, but
Apolla entering the top of the Bastion now, so it's still neck and neck. This is what we want to see in these semifinals games: is these players at the same place at the same time. It makes a very exciting match. So they are in different parts of the Bastion. Apolla going top down, but Pixely is navigating the bottom part of the Bastion now. So we'll see if that affects the route in any way. This could have a big impact on who finishes the seed first.
yeah, neck and
So
neck. I
opting
mean, a
to,
second ago, thinking that Pixely's ahead, but Apollo brings it back straight into the Bastion as
yeah,
well. I mean,
absolutely.
you never know what's going to happen here. It's hard to really keep an eye on what's going on.
Yeah, I said that I would much prefer to be in Pixely's spot earlier, but Apolla's already getting the gold traded. So Apolla is probably in the lead now. Not too much gold in this top section. So I'm wondering if we're going to be heading down to get some more gold. Pixely will probably be heading up, but they're just sort of crossing paths now. So Apolla just playing top down, Pixely playing bottom up. That can have a big impact on how fast this route ends up being. So it's a very dynamic Bastion we're in at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, top
I
down,
really,
bottom up. I'm guessing that the difference there is the gold and finding the gold, being able to trade with those pigmen in order to get the resources you need to move on to the next stage, right?
yeah, it's just different sections at the top and the bottom. Usually for this kind of Bastion, you want to be entering at the top. It generally leads to quicker routes. And Pixely's opting to head even further down at the moment. This is where you want to be at this stage. If you are Pixely, you want to be getting this gold down here and just getting your trade started. But Apolla's already going to be having some trades ready. We might need to get a few more resources before we leave, but I think Apolla is just strictly in the lead at the moment. We'll see that when these runners leave, who leaves first. That will kind of be a definitive idea of who is actually in the lead. It's very hard to tell when you're in the Bastion, especially if we're doing different routes here. It's very hard to see who is actually going to be leaving first, but I'm excited to see who takes the lead here.
Absolutely right. And going off of what you were saying before with Apollo currently in the lead, I mean, the last game took a very similar trajectory. Apollo about 10, 20 seconds ahead, but ending up,
Yeah.
unfortunately, having that issue in the end, it really flipped the map and made it for Pixely, you know? So it could always go that same way. But the question is Apollo going to keep this sort of lead? Is he going to keep moving forward and really keeping this time ahead? Or, is there going to be another accident that could really change things in the favor of Pixely again?
Yeah, and I'm starting to get a bit concerned here with the Polar's route because we've chosen to keep all the piglins upstairs. Usually you want to get the gold up here and then lead all of these piglins down to where Pixel is currently at. So that means that obviously there's plenty of gold down the bottom. Apola is just choosing to try and play time here and get the all the piglins up the top, not bothering to go down, which might hurt him in the long run if we're not able to get enough trades. And it looks like we're only leaving on 10 or 12 obsidian, which is not enough to make a second portal. Whereas Pixely is probably going to have a few more trades, get a little bit luckier here. So even though we are still in the Bastion, it is taking a bit longer to actually leave. Pixely has more resources, and so this could end up sort of sandbagging the match. So just obviously later on the splits, but just managing to take an enormous lead later on in the game. We'll see if that actually pans out. But Apola entering the fortress now at looks like 8, just sub 9. And Pixely only leaving the Bastion now, so a bit of a gap. We'll see if they are able to reclaim that.
Comes back to what we were talking about earlier, resource management versus speed. I mean, if you don't have enough stuff to really make up for any mistakes going in the future, it can come back
Yeah,
and haunt you a bit later, right? And I mean,
yeah, and
they
that's
always talk
my
about
biggest
the
concern
rabbit and the
here.
tortoise. Yeah, absolutely. They always talk about the rabbit and the tortoise. Is it slow and steady wins the race, or is it, quickest does here? You never know.
I'm rooting for the tortoise here. I think Pixely it might just have the advantage going in here, and Apola is playing some strays here, so maybe we'll get a bit of extra speed on maybe killing some blazes that Pixely might not get. But if we have to run in the overworld, it's way faster to nether the travel, and I don't think Apola has that option here. So it could just be a massive lead that we see developing for Pixely.
I guess only time will
Three,
tell,
four
really. I
rows.
mean, yeah, they seem like they're pretty neck and neck at the moment. I mean, again, Apollo having that little bit of a lead, but Pixley's right on his tail, right on his heels. So, again, it's just a matter of time at this point.
Yeah, no, it's a big it's I can't understate how massive of a difference it is not having that 20 of obsidian to be able to nether travel. We will need to see how close the stronghold is, because if it is very close, that could give Apollo what he needs to not even reclaim this lead, but just hold on to the lead. But if it is a far stronghold, Pixley is going to have a much easier time getting there. And it looks like another key factor there as well is the amount of explosives these runners have. It looks like Pixely only has 3 explosives. I'm wondering if Apola has even less than that because of the lack of trades that we managed to get through. But Apola is leaving the stronghold now and going to, yeah, we're actually choosing to build our portal off the stronghold. The reason being is because the stronghold can only spawn in certain rings around the overworld, and so you want to build that portal in good coordinates, which gives you the highest chance of being close to that stronghold. But Pixely doesn't need to worry about that. We can just build our portal whenever, wherever, and we can just nether travel to that stronghold. We don't have the calculator on screen, so we can't see how far this is. But yeah, you can see Apola just having to boat through the ocean now, but Pixely will be re-entering the nether. And I really think that Pixely is just going to enter the stronghold first here.
I mean, again, that massive time difference. I mean, whoever gets to a place first, obviously, we saw in the previous match, I mean, Pixley having a bit of an issue navigating through that stronghold, whereas Apollo was able to find that portal a lot quicker. But again, if that nether travel pans out and he gets into that earlier, I mean, it really will make all that difference. That lead that was lost before is going to be huge in this circumstance.
Yeah, absolutely. And another very interesting thing to point out here is just the mind games that are happening right now, because Apola has been pretty much ahead in most of these splits, but it's deceptive. We are going to take a lot longer getting to these chords than Pixely, and so maybe that is an advantage. Being so far ahead on the splits, maybe that makes Pixely a bit nervous. Pixely is probably doesn't realize that Apola doesn't have the obsidian needed to nether travel, and so Pixely is just trying to play this as fast as possible to try and catch up any ground that we can. And so maybe playing a bit risky, trying to get a lead that they don't need to, that could be a bad thing.
You're absolutely right. I mean, that's another thing that people don't talk about too often when it comes to these sorts of speed runs. I mean, it's one thing to play ranked, it's another thing to play, in a tournament and that extra
Yeah.
pressure. I mean, the bragging rights, and especially with money involved and semifinals. I mean, that sort of pressure, you can't let it sort of just slip by. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, it's always there. It's an underlying thing in your mind, and definitely it can affect how you play. But which one of these players, will let that affect them less? That really comes into account as well, really makes a difference.
Yeah, and maybe a bit of a confidence boost here. Pixely is now in the stronghold, and we are in the stronghold first. So maybe Pixely is just thinking Apola's made a mistake, they've done something wrong, and we see the portal room instantly. So this could be the end of the seed if we're managing to get it done now. So we've got 3 beds and 3 anchors. That is a little bit scary on the 0 cycle, but if Pixely is confident enough, maybe we will go for it. This is match point. But Pixely, if they do manage to fail this and they do lose, it's not over for them. So they do have that fallback of game 3 if something goes wrong here. But Apola, not even in the stronghold yet. Looks like we are digging down to chords now. But Pixely is probably just opting to play this very safe, and play the 1 cycle, just trying to get that consistent win. And we were talking about that earlier with the seed stats. Pixely just seemed to be a lot more consistent, winning a lot more of the games than Apola. So maybe slower final times, but I think that consistency is just key in this match here.
I think it's what we talked about before. I mean, watching these two players play, I think Apollo is definitely more adverse to taking risks, likes the Razor's Edge, always sort of taking
Yep.
those routes, but more dangerous. Whereas you can see Pixley does take his time, and I mean, you can see it. It's probably got a lot to do with the amount of games they've played. I mean, Apollo with slightly less games total than Pixley. Again, it comes down to that experience, knowing when to push your luck, when not to push your luck, when to play it safe, when to get aggressive, and Apollo being very much more aggressive than Pixely is in most of these games that we have seen. So it could just come down to that mindset around speedrunning as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And one thing, another scary thing here is Pixely actually had to fall off the tower and take some damage there. So we can't pearl in. We don't have the health to do it. So this is a bit scary. But getting the anchor off, as long as we get good damage, but we don't kill the dragon. Oh, and Apollo had to reset. Did Apollo die in the stronghold?
I
Oh my
don't think he
god.
does.
Hold on, I wonder if we can get a replay on that. No, we don't, unfortunately. But I'm not sure what happened there. But Pixely not managing to get the 1 cycle down, and so we're actually low on explosives now. We have to full bow the dragon, break all of these crystals so it doesn't heal back up. Obviously, still a bit of a lead here because Apollo has to play the entire seed again. But if we don't manage to get these crystals down, or if we make a mistake here, maybe we die in the end. That could give Apollo a chance to come back.
I mean, again, if that's the case and Pixley does happen to not make it through the end and die, I mean, it would give Apollo that huge advantage. I mean, already starting the seed again, but it really does come down to how Pixley plays this now. The ball's in Pixley's court. I mean, Apollo's just got to keep going, keep marching through. It's got to be a pretty big hit to the mental. But again, all it takes is one mistake from Pixley, and we're right back to square one.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Pixely, very low health as well. So we need to play very safe in this end. Just try and get all these crystals broken. We're back on the ground, which is where you want to be. And so we just need to just slowly kill this dragon down. We do have a few extra explosives here, so we should be able to deal some damage, but I don't think it's enough. Yeah, not great damage on these explosives. So it's going to have to be 2 more perches as long as nothing bad happens. Just choosing to drink the fire res as well. I like that play, just making sure that we don't accidentally walk into this fire that could be catastrophic. But as long as we don't make a massive mistake here, just 1 more perch should do it for Pixely. Bit of a scary end fight, but I think we have managed to just play consistent enough to get that win. But we will see. Obviously, the dragon could take a long time to perch. Anything can happen between now and then, so I don't think we can call it quite yet.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, Pixely on 2.5 hearts. I mean, again, all it'll take is one mistake. Maybe you jump up a block too high and,
Yeah.
right back to the start. So it's definitely still on the razor's edge. I mean, Apollo a bit behind, but being in the nether. And again, if Pixely does make that small mistake and has to reset, I mean, it'll be much in the favor of Apollo. Again, you can't quite rule it out just yet. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Pixely's feeling right now. Shooting themselves with an arrow to get an achievement in chat, just to maybe play those mind games that I was talking about. Maybe just throw a polar even further off. But it looks like Dragon might be going in for the perch now. Maybe. Yes, that's the snap. So Dragon will be perching as long as we can get in Fountain and axe this Dragon down. I think that will be the end of game 2. That will be a 2-0 victory to the side of Pixely. So obviously Apola played their heart out. They nearly won both seeds. They had a chance here if they managed to get to the stronghold in the second match, but that is Dragon dead for Pixely. So we will not be seeing a game 3 today. That is it. Game over at just 18 minutes, 19 seconds. Well played to both runners. Very exciting games.
Yeah, they were definitely close. I mean, again, someone who doesn't know much about the scene, you could definitely see that these players knew what they were doing, and again, neck and neck most of the way through. Well done to both runners. I mean, it was a great game, and they should be proud of their achievements throughout this
Yeah.
throughout these two games.
Absolutely. So Pixely will be moving on to the next bracket in grand finals. So that'll be the final match to see who wins the entire tournament. But obviously the road is not over for Apola. We have made our way to losers bracket, so we will be seeing if Apola can manage to redeem themselves and get that third place, still get a cash prize out of this tournament. So I'm excited to see how both of those games go. But for now, we will be heading over to a quick intermission while we get a winners interview set up. So we'll see you just a moment. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here in the booth with Pixley, the winner of that second semifinals match. So, hello, Pixley. How are you feeling?
I'm gonna quit Minecraft.
Too much stress?
Like, not just stress. I just played so bad. I didn't deserve it at all.
There were very, very close seeds on both games. So, yeah, I mean, the end fights were, especially that second end fight, it was just very scary. But you managed to stay cool, calm under that pressure, and just play consistent enough to get those wins. So, did you think you were winning the seeds after obviously some bad things happened in both seeds? How were you feeling after those things happened?
I thought I was gonna lose both seats. Like, I was so behind. I did so many wrong things, especially mechanically. I couldn't craft anything if you looked in the first game.
Absolutely.
Also, I want to point out I haven't had a single normal one cycle in the tournament yet. It's all full bows.
Yeah. That's terrible. Well, hopefully we'll have a better end fight and better performance in the grand finals. So you're going to be going into the grand finals next. That's very exciting. You'll be versing Dashk, which is should be exciting. Should be a close game. But yeah, with those seeds, so the first seed you were pretty much behind the entire time. Apollo just managing to retain about a 20-second lead going into the fortress, going into the stronghold nav, but you managed to take it back in the stronghold, I believe. So how were you feeling? What were your thoughts going behind? Were you trying to make up that time, or were you just trying to play a bit more consistently and hope that they make a mistake?
I was just on the first game. I tried to crank pace and zero cycle, which was a very big mistake. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I pivoted from that. On the second game, I just pushed pace so hard. Like, I had no pros, but I kept proling.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
The instant nav was clean though.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic navigation.
Yeah, I don't know. I need to train for Dax final. Like, that's the final boss of Emerald, bro.
It certainly is. But you've secured that podium final, so that's fantastic news. That means you are winning a prize in this tournament. And so
Yes.
either first or second. Are you going for that first place, or are you content with getting second?
I wanna get first place because Dax said I was gonna lose to Apollo today. I need to beat
Proving
him.
them wrong.
I need to train. I can't beat him like I played today. Like, I need to get better.
Yeah. No, Dask is a very strong competitor. So I don't know if those 18-minute times are gonna cut it. We're gonna have to clean up that gameplay a bit, but we managed to scrape on by today, which is good news. Do you have any fighting words for Dask in the next game?
He was on sub 9 pace today, which is like insane.
That
And
is fast.
probably gonna lose, but looking forward to it.
Well, it'll be an exciting game nonetheless, and our first best of 5 of the tournament as well. So you'll have plenty of seeds to, if you do make a mistake, maybe you'll come back in the next one. So yeah, should be interesting. Crawlers, any questions for Pixley?
I've got a few. You were talking about earlier how you said you're having some troubles with your mechanics, things like that. You were feeling that you were falling behind. Was there any point that you can think of where you really thought, oh, I'm really falling behind here? And when you did sort of get that idea, or if you did, what was the sort of adjustments that you made in order to keep doing that? Did you just keep powering through, just thinking, oh, well, I got to get it done, just focus on the next thing? Or what was going through your mind at that point?
I just tried to play consistent and not die because I knew I wasn't gonna catch up on pace. I was gonna catch up on him making a mistake. So I just tried to not die and not like make a detrimental mistake.
Yeah, so that was definitely your strategy. And I mean, we could see it. I mean, you were taking your time, you were making sure you didn't make any slip ups, and you were going definitely for that more sort of consistent flow. Just get the next thing done, worry about what you need before you push on to the next thing. And I think that really gave you a lot of value. And you were talking about before being a bit worried about coming up against your next competitor. And I think if you keep that mindset going forward, I mean, it worked for you today. You said that you were struggling and you were just sort of falling behind in your mind, but you came out with that 2 2-0. And I mean, there's something to be said for that. I mean, consistency can't be understated in this sort of scene. So, yeah. So, with that in mind, do you think this will seriously buff your mindset when it comes into that next game? You know, if you fall behind, will you fall back on this game and think to yourself, well, you know, I was behind in the semifinals. Surely I can come ahead again if I just remain consistent, keep up with it. I mean, we can always improve and you've got that mindset, but do you think this will help you going into that next game?
Against Dak, I don't think my strategy is gonna work because he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He just plays so fast. Like on him, I will not be trying to play consistent. We'll just take so many risks, try to push pace against him because I will fall behind.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I mean, switching up the strategy is not necessarily a bad idea as well. It'll be fun to watch you play a bit more risk averse. I mean, tackle the things that you didn't necessarily do today. And yeah, well, I guess best of luck with that one. I mean, your consistency pulled you through here. I'm really curious to see how you go in that next game, in that final. I mean, seeing you take those risks with that sort of consistency backed up. I mean, you know what you're doing. You can see it from your gameplay. You can see it from the way you've been tackling these things and seeing you play more risky. That's something to look forward to. And I mean, in those finals, we'll see that and it'll be pretty good. I mean, today was Razor's Edge. You were neck and neck with both Apollo and yourself. And I think that you've got to give yourself a little bit more credit in that regard. And yeah, I guess I don't have too many more questions for you, but yeah, keep it up. Best of luck. And yeah, hopefully you can pull through and get that first place.
Thank you.
Yeah, very, very excited for that match. So we'll start to wrap things up now. Thank you so much for playing the games today, Pixley, and yeah, best of luck as well in your very next game.
Thank you.
All right, so that was both of our semifinals games today. So up next we have, well, not today, but our next stream should be happening tomorrow, and it will be a very exciting 2 games there because we will be having Pixley versus Dash again, well, not again, but in the grand finals, and then for the losers bracket as well, it will be Apollo versus Yasin. So I'm very excited to see those matches, and yeah, very, very excited to see how things pan out. They will be best of 5, so very exciting last day of the tournament tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
But
we've
yeah,
seen some of the players today, right? I mean, it was neck and neck the whole way. I mean, and these are going to be the best of the best going up against, you know, each other. So we'll see
yeah,
how it pans out. And, you know, we've obviously heard a lot about these players coming forward, and everyone should be on the edge of their seat to see what's going to come of the upcoming game. And I'm just going to throw out there a big thank you to Tolkien for bringing me on tonight, even though I've got basically no experience. It was quite a lot of fun watching you guys really put your all into it. I mean, you could see the passion in the gameplay of how these players were going and these runners. And I mean, well played to Apollo. Didn't come out with a victory there, but you were still here tonight and you still fought hard, and it was such a close game. So you should still be proud of that. And I'm looking forward to see how you do in that lower bracket to see if you can crawl up and get that 3rd place and get that spot on the podium. And yeah, that's all I have to say from me. I'll leave it back with you, Tolkien. But thank you all for watching, and this has been a good semi-final.
yeah, absolutely. All of these runners putting in their all, fighting through the earlier brackets to get to this place. So next matches tomorrow are going to be very exciting. But that's just about all we have time for as well. So I'm going to be sending you all off. Thank you very much for tuning into these semifinals today, and we will catch you all next time. See ya.